Good evening, Bengals fans. Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Shields. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us here tonight. Coming up on today's show, the Bengals got some more good news. Not the best news in the world, but definitely some more good news I think is positive that the team can build off of. Obviously, still gearing towards a potential playoff push. Need a lot of help to happen here in Week 18, which we'll get into. But still some good news happened over the weekend for the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, some early notes in regards to the matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, it is only Monday today, but this clearly is the biggest game of the year. I feel like we've said that so many times this year, but this could very well be the final game of the 2024 season. Also, Orlando Brown Jr. is battling through a wild injury. We're going to spend some time talking about that. And there's a lot of people complaining about Zac Taylor's clock management. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on that as well, and I certainly have a lot to say in that regard. Before we get into that, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon for us if you have not done so already. We are in a December like battle with our Ravens channel. Obviously, it's not going our way here in December. That's all right. They were able to put out a little bit more content than we are here at Bengals Breakdown. Regardless, let's finish out the month strong. Let's try to get 10,000 likes this month. Really need to pop off this video. Did a great job during our watch party. Broke all kinds of records against the Denver Broncos. Let's have a big video here tonight as well. Here's where the good news begins for the Cincinnati Bengals. Going into this weekend, several things Bengals needed in order to kind of keep their playoff hopes in a decent spot. Needed losses from the Dolphins, the Broncos, of course, which they got, a Bengals win. And they also needed a loss from the Indianapolis Colts, which they got. Could have gotten this loss in Week 18, but you feel great about Drew Lock getting an upset against the Indianapolis Colts, really giving the Bengals a chance. Not many people thought this would happen. I think a lot of people were expecting them to have to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 18, but Drew Lock said not so fast. The Giants no longer have the first overall pick, which I'm sure their fan base is a little disappointed in. But for us Bengals fans, certainly some great news. The Colts have been eliminated from playoff contention. One less team to worry about if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's talk briefly about the Bengals' path to the playoffs. We will have a video later in the week that kind of fully details the Bengals' playoff picture and where they sit. Obviously, Cincinnati needs to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we all understood that and knew that. But the Dolphins additionally need to lose to the New York Jets in Week 18. The Dolphins were able to take care of the Cleveland Browns. Boy, Cleveland looks like they're just trying to lose based off what they put out on the field this past weekend. And additionally, the Broncos need to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs, which you might be thinking, oh, that's easy, no problem. Looks like the Chiefs are going to be resting their starters in that game. The Broncos already significant favorites. Hopefully Andy Reid can work his magic and get a victory for us Bengals fans. Kind of ironic we're rooting for the Chiefs, but that's just the way things have panned out this season. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Who do you think messes this up? I said a couple of weeks ago here on Bengals Breakdown that I thought everything was going to go our way and the Bengals were going to fall one leg short. What do you think that leg is? You think it's the Bengals that just screw up and lose to Pittsburgh? Is it the Jets that can't get it done? Is it the Chiefs? Or is it nobody? And are the Bengals going to the playoffs? If you think it's more than one of these options, you can just type multiple letters. For example, B and C if you think it's going to be the Bengals and the Chiefs that mess it up. But regardless, get in the comment section is the pinned comment of today's video. If that ad comes here on YouTube, totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down there and let us know what you think. All right, Week 18, here we go. Bengals and Steelers. Cincinnati going back on the road after 2 home games here to wrap up their season at Paycor Stadium. The Bengals, as of now, are 1.5 favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The total hovering around that 50-point mark, as it seemingly always does for Cincinnati. But look at that time there. Another primetime game for Cincinnati. They're 6-1 this year, which is just welcome to the Joe Burrow era, right? 6 games in one season in primetime. Pretty remarkable. But get this, of those 6 games, 5 of them are on the road, as you can see here with this tweet here from Jay Morrison. The list of teams to play 5 primetime road games in a single season in NFL history, the 2024 Cincinnati Bengals. That's it. That's the list. So, pretty typical, I guess you could say, that the Bengals, they get all these primetime games, yeah, they're going on the road for 5 of them, but I digress. It is what it is. I think the Bengals just should be happy about the opportunity to play in another island game and showcase their talents to the rest of the league. Do want to touch on this graphic real quickly before we move on. Paul Dehner Jr. put this out on his Twitter. There really is something to road teams in the AFC North in primetime. It's a real thing. Road teams are 2-13 since 2019 on the road, primetime in the AFC North. How about that? That is just unbelievable. I think that is certainly a trend at this point. Absolutely. 2-13 dating back to 2019. Absolutely unbelievable. Hopefully, the Bengals can turn that around and, put in some good juju and perhaps switch that trend a little bit. But right now, the odds certainly not in Cincinnati's favor. Continue with our show here in a moment, but first, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Basketball season is heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. They also have the Flex Plays, what we're rolling with here at Chat Sports. There is a game tonight, and this slate still has some life because the beautiful thing about the Flex Play, don't have to get all 3 correct. Right now we got 1 right, Rico Dowdle rushing yards, 1 wrong. The Hunter Henry receiving yards all comes down to Jared Goff and whether or not he can execute tonight for Detroit. That is the Flex Play. Really encourage you guys try that out. Don't have to get them all perfect. You can miss one and still double your money. So download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, Orlando Brown Jr., of course, is really a cornerstone piece to this franchise, was really having an incredible start to the season, then hit some injury, had a very significant injury. It was a knee and a fibula, and he revealed after the game that he's literally playing through a broken leg. All these offensive linemen are unbelievable, but this is some next-level toughness here from OBJ. Let's take a look exactly what he said. He said, I was really emotional there at the end, obviously. My fibula has been broken in 2 separate spots. That's what I've been dealing with all season. It's an extremely unique injury. To get specific, my fibula and tibia are fused together because I grew up so quickly as a child on both legs. So it's considered a weight-bearing bone. It's something I've been having to obviously deal with, and the reason I've missed time outside the other things going on around that leg. It's a lot deeper than pain tolerance. It's a real injury with a couple other things going on around the leg. It's important to be able to suit up for this team and this organization. I take a lot of pride in being available for this organization. It's hard being on the sidelines. I would have gone out there and fought it, essentially meaning this whole time rather than having to miss several weeks. But look at Orlando Brown Jr. in Week 17, out there with a broken leg, putting up these kinds of numbers. He was absolutely awesome for you. That offensive line pass block grade per PFF, so, take it with a grain of salt, but 88.6. Only gave up 2 hurries, no hits, no sacks, 64.7 for the run block grade. Not great, but certainly I think was probably the best along the Bengals offensive line. They're in a kind of a world of hurt right here. As you can tell, I still have that injury or hurt designation by Orlando Brown Jr. Hopefully he's able to go against Pittsburgh again, but he is just battling. Marius Mims had to come out of the game. He's been battling through injuries. Seen Cordell Volson get benched for Cody Ford when Orlando Brown Jr. is out there. So all of these guys are really battling through a lot right now, and they're going to need to be big in this game against Pittsburgh if Cincinnati hopes to keep their playoffs hopes alive for at least another day. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. What is your one-word reaction to the Orlando Brown Jr. injury news? Mine, simply dog. He's a dog for fighting through that with a broken leg. But let me know in the comment section one word for me right now. All right, last thing here. We're going to be talking clock management with Zac Taylor because there's a lot of people in the national media and the fan base that think Zac Taylor has a clock management problem. And I am here to tell you that is not the case. All right, let me be very clear. All right, let's kind of rehash what happened on Saturday a little bit. Bengals are going down the field trying to win the football game, right? Tie ball game. And you go Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase at the 6-yard line. Denver has to use their second timeout with a minute 39 remaining. So you're like, all right, we're at the 6-yard line. Denver has one timeout, minute 39 remaining. We are in a good spot. Now, Chase Brown, they hand it to him, and then clearly Chase Brown was asked to get down short of the goal line, which probably is a good call, right? You don't want to score right away. Ideally, Denver has to pop that last time out, and then you can kind of do what you want at that point. Unfortunately, Chase Brown gets hurt, which could be a lot bigger issue going forward if he's not able to play against Pittsburgh. But regardless, he gets hurt, so you have to take an injury timeout if you are the Cincinnati Bengals. That completely changes the whole situation entirely. 100%. So then what happens on 2nd and goal? Zac Taylor's in a situation where he says, oh, do we sit here and mess around at the goal line like we did earlier in the game, like we've done at parts throughout this season, or do we just need to score to get us a lead? And he sneaks it in with Joe Burrow, and Burrow scores. As I mentioned, your goal line offense was absolutely miserable. I completely understand wanting to score with Joe Burrow after that injury timeout. If they didn't have to pop that timeout and made Denver have to use one, Zac Taylor wasn't going to run it in right there. He had to do it because of the injury. You're not game planning for an injury in that situation. How about we talk about the fact that a rookie quarterback got the ball with a minute 30 left on the road, right, and had one timeout to work with, and he had to go all the way down the field, not kick a field goal, and score a touchdown, and your defense let that happen. That is the issue here with the Cincinnati Bengals football team. It is not Zac Taylor and his decision to go score there on 2nd and goal with Joe Burrow in the quarterback sneak. Also, kicking it on 3rd down in the overtime session was 100% the right call. What did he do against Baltimore? He kicked it on 4th down, and it was a really long field goal, and it didn't work out. You have to kick it there on 3rd down, especially if it's a short one, just in case there's a bad snap or a bad hold. You can fall on it and then kick it again. So the people that were ticked off about that, it's a 33-yard field goal. Every team takes that 33-yard field goal. I don't care if it is the backup kicker at all. He's a professional. He can make a 33-yard kick. That's how Kansas City literally wins every single game. They mess around, it's close, it's tight, then they get the ball at the end, they go down the field and they kick a field goal and they win. That's what they do. Cincinnati doesn't have that luxury because their kickers have struggled so bad at this point. It was the right call not to go back to Cade York in that situation at the end. I thought he handled this perfectly as well. You can't go back to him after that miss. You have to get it in with your offense, and that is exactly what Zac Taylor did. So I know I just kind of got a little hot right there, but it's really frustrating that people are coming after this guy after all he does in the month of December is win. This team could have absolutely quit. They were, 4-8? And what did he do? He got hot, won 4 games in a row. Let's give this guy some praise, and let's give him some credit for how he handled such a stressful situation at the end of the game at home, and it ultimately led to a win for the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/BengalsTV. We will be live for Bengals and Steelers on Saturday night, primetime. I'm hyped up about it. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys join us. Make sure you hit that sub button right now.